Picture this. It's the summer of 1587. A ship carrying over 100 English men, women, and children cuts through the waves, finally reaching the coast of what we now call North Carolina. They are filled with dreams of a new beginning in the New World. Their leader, a man named John White, helps them establish a fledgling settlement on Roanoke Island. They build homes, they plant crops, they start their new lives. Everything seems full of promise. But their supplies are running low. John White makes a tough decision. He'll sail back to England to get what they need, promising to return as soon as possible. It was a promise he couldn't keep. A war between England and Spain broke out, and every available ship was commandeered for the war effort. For 3 long agonizing years, White was stuck in England, his heart and mind across the ocean with his family, including his newborn granddaughter, Virginia Dare, the first English child born in the Americas. Imagine his anxiety, the sleepless nights, wondering if they were safe, if they had enough food, if they were still waiting for him. Finally, in August of 1590, he manages to secure passage back. As his ship approaches Roanoke Island, his heart must have been pounding. But as he stepped ashore, a chilling silence greeted him. The bustling settlement he had left behind was gone. The houses were dismantled. The people had vanished. There were no signs of a battle, no bodies, no struggle. It was as if they had been erased from existence. As White and his men searched the deserted grounds, their confusion turned to dread. Then they saw it. Carved into a wooden post of the fort was a single cryptic word, CROATOAN. CROATOAN. What did it mean? White knew it was the name of a nearby island, now known as Hatteras Island, and the name of a friendly Native American tribe that lived there. He had even left instructions with the colonists that if they had to move, they should carve their destination into a tree. If they were in distress, they should carve a Maltese cross above the name. But there was no cross. This suggested they had left willingly, peacefully. Hope flickered in White's heart. Perhaps they were safe, living with the CROATOAN people just a few miles south. But a powerful storm was brewing. The sailors on his ship were anxious to leave, refusing to risk their lives searching the nearby islands. Defeated and heartbroken, John White was forced to sail back to England, leaving the fate of his family and the colonists behind him, lost to the winds and the waves. He would never see them again. And from that day forward, the settlement became known as the Lost Colony of Roanoke. So what happened to them? This is where the story turns from history into one of America's oldest and most haunting mysteries. For centuries, historians, archaeologists, and amateur sleuths have tried to piece together the puzzle. The most straightforward theory is that the colonists, facing starvation and hardship, decided to seek help from the CROATOAN tribe. They packed up their belongings, carefully dismantled their homes to reuse the valuable timber and nails, and assimilated into the local population. It's a plausible theory. There are even accounts from later explorers who heard tales from Native American tribes about people with gray eyes who could read from a book, possibly the descendants of the Roanoke settlers. Another darker theory suggests a less peaceful end. Perhaps the relationship with other, less friendly local tribes soured. Some historians believe the colonists may have been attacked and wiped out. Without any witnesses or survivors, it's a theory that's hard to prove or disprove. The complete lack of bodies or signs of a fight at the original settlement site, however, makes this scenario less likely for many researchers. It doesn't quite fit the tidiness of the disappearance. Then there's the desperate theory. What if they tried to go home? Faced with starvation and feeling abandoned, a small group of colonists might have attempted the impossible. Using a small boat left behind by White's expedition, they might have tried to sail back to England on their own. It would have been a suicidal journey across the treacherous Atlantic Ocean, a voyage they were almost certainly not equipped to survive. If this were the case, their boat, and everyone on it, would have been swallowed by the sea, leaving no trace. But here is where the mystery deepens and takes a turn into the realm of folklore and speculation. What if the word CROATOAN wasn't just a destination? What if it was a warning? Some theories propose that the colonists stumbled upon something on the island, something ancient and powerful that they were not meant to disturb. This more fantastical idea suggests their disappearance wasn't a relocation, but an event, a sudden, inexplicable vanishing linked to the island's own hidden secrets. Did they uncover a sacred burial ground? A strange artifact? This theory paints a picture not of a failed colony, but of people who crossed a boundary into the unknown. For centuries, these were just theories, whispered stories. But then, in the 20th century, the mystery took a new turn. Archaeologists began finding tantalizing clues. European artifacts from the 16th century, bits of pottery, a sword hilt, a flintlock, started showing up miles inland from Roanoke, in areas that were once the sites of Native American villages. These discoveries, known as Site X and the Metaquem Project, suggested that at least some of the colonists survived and moved inland, splitting into smaller groups and integrating with different tribes. This evidence supports the assimilation theory, painting a picture of survival rather than just disappearance. They weren't lost in the traditional sense. They simply became part of a new culture, their English identities slowly fading over generations. Yet, despite these fascinating discoveries, no definitive proof has ever been found. We've never found a diary, a letter, or a gravesite that says, "Here lie the colonists of Roanoke." The fragments we have only create a more complex and incomplete picture. The truth remains buried under 400 years of history, myth, and the shifting sands of North Carolina's Outer Banks. The story of the Lost Colony of Roanoke is more than just an unsolved case. It's a ghost story woven into the very fabric of American history. It reminds us of the fragility of those early settlements, the immense courage of the people who risked everything for a new life, and the vast, mysterious continent they faced. They were pioneers standing at the dawn of a new nation, and their story, ending in a question mark, has haunted us ever since. What really happened to them? The answer, it seems, was carried away on the wind, leaving only a single, enigmatic word carved into a tree, CROATOAN. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into one of history's greatest mysteries. What do you think happened to the settlers? Let me know your theories in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the unexplained. We'll see you in the next one.